there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, Jim Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And today I thought we would talk about the first book in the Mating and Monsters series, which is Dating and Dismemberment by A.L. Brody. Let's get into it. Alright, these are my notes. So coming in hot with the Goodreads blurb, we have Emily Henry meets Grady Hendrix in the funniest and most original romantic comedy of the year, a monstrously funny, feel-good fantasy full of love, laughter, lore, and limbs. Darla Drake, Duchess of Death, is a legendary monster who has hunted the woods around Camp Clear Creek for years, until an existential crisis forces her to take a sabbatical from wreaking havoc on pimply teens while she figures out what she really wants with the rest of her life, possibly infinite. But what does a monster do when her malevolent days are over? For Darla, it's spending time with the decapitated yet still overbearing head of her mother, reading romance novels she steals from campers, and struggling with one monstrous case of melancholy, until Jarko Merkvale arrives in Clear Creek and turns Darla's life upside down. Jarko is conceited, arrogant, infuriating, and unfortunately for Darla, kind of hot. And with the Duchess of Death on the shelf, Jarko has staked his claim on Camp Clear Creek. But Darla refuses to go down without a fight. And so, in order to reclaim her territory, she challenges Jarko to a series of hunts to see who the most fearsome monster really is. But the more mayhem they cause, the more Darla begins to realize that there's more to this brash monster than she believed, and that Jarko may just be the antidote to her ennui. But there's a reason Jarko came to Camp Clear Creek, and in order to fill her 9-chambered heart, Darla will have to unravel the mystery of who this closed-off monster really is. And if they can manage not to literally tear each other limb from limb, Darla and Jarko might find couples who stay together. Okay, so ignoring the fact that that was incredibly hard for me to read, that was the second take. This book was actually pretty disappointing for me. I have in my notes, Darla Drake is plagued with ennui, and now she's in danger of losing her camp. She's lonely. Jarko Merkvale is the new monster in town. At first I thought he was Gawain-esque, that he's trying to right some wrongs and he's on a quest and stuff, but I had 80 pages left in the book when I was reading it, that it felt like the book had already ended, and it wasn't an epilogue. It was like chapters of book still left, 80 pages, like almost 100 pages left in the book, and I'm like, why does it feel like it already ended? Everything's been wrapped up. And the ending was drawn out. The pacing was kind of choppy. It was way too fast in places, but this book is 329 pages. Like, I read a post the other day that said for romance novels, you have 400 pages or less to get your point across. And it feels like A.L. Brody took that to heart in this. For the plot, there wasn't enough detail in a lot of spaces, but at the same time, it was a lot of telling, not showing. Like, it was telling me how the monsters feel, not showing me how the monsters feel. It was telling me all the bits of their physiology instead of, like, trying to show me. Like, Darla reached in and pulled out the teenager's still beating heart. It had 4 chambers, unlike her 9. Instead of just saying, I have 9 chambers in my heart. Cool factoid. And the characters themselves, I wanted to like Darla so much, and I wanted to like Jarko, but he just fell flat, and she was just so wooden. And like, the moral of this story, because it feels very much like it was written with a moral in mind, was a man fixes all your problems. They never address her abandonment issues from her father, and her insecurities are gone with a grand gesture. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but he commits a grand gesture at about the halfway point of the book. Like I said, it's only 329 pages, and the book felt like it was over 80 pages from the end. So you do the math there. And, like, he does one grand gesture, and she's like, oh! And I guess burnout is solved by a magic penis, is the moral of the story. That if you have burnout, just go have some adult fun time, and you'll be cured. The end. Like, this book felt icky. Not in a gross way, but in, like, a feminist point of view kind of a way. That, like, the author is a male, it's a male author, and it felt like a man trying to write a romance novel for women, if that makes sense. Like, in the worst, last, like, Reddit, subreddit of men writing women kind of a way, it felt like r/men writing women, and this was like, he took all of those examples and, like, just squished them into a book together, and he's like, this is how you write for a female audience. And, like, at the same time, it felt like he was trying to transcend the female audience into, like, a larger, more marketable audience. And it felt like it was trying to be too many things at once. And at the same time, it wasn't trying enough to be what it is. Like, it's supposed to be a monster rom-com, is what it's billed as. Like, that's the tagline, is a monster rom-com. That's on the cover. And it just... At no point did I laugh out loud in this whole book. I didn't even, like, blow air out through my nose. And that when you read something funny that a friend sends you, you're like that kind of expression. Nothing. This book gave me nothing. Like, I wasn't afraid for the character because she's immortal. And he brings up the idea of a frailty, that there's something that can kill a monster. And it's brought up again once. Like, it's only brought up twice. And never in relation to any of our main characters. So why bring it up at all? Why not just make them immortal? Like the frailty is the one weakness. Like, and it's like, why was this even brought up? And they're like, oh, there's this registry that all the monsters are on, and you get this weird iPad thing. And that's brought up a couple of times, but never really in reference to the plot. Like, the fact that she's an unregistered monster is never brought up again, and the fact that her mother refused to let her get registered without telling her is never brought up again. And the fact that, like, they take out the Aryan Brotherhood, like, one of their bars in this book. And it's like, okay, cool, so maybe there's going to be some retaliation, it'll bring up the frailty. No, nothing. Like, the two of them start a bet, and they're like, okay, I bet you I can hunt better in my ways than you can in your ways, and whoever wins this challenge takes control of the Clear Creek. Except that there's only 2 hunts, and there's no drama in this book. Like, there's no stakes. There's nothing in this book that feels high stakes at all. And, like, when the characters get vulnerable, it's like, I don't care. Because this hasn't come up. This feels out of left field. Like, it was mentioned once, several chapters ago, that this could happen. It happened to another character off page years ago over there. And it's never mentioned again. Like, I thought, like, her dad walked out on her mom and her. On her and her mom. And I'm like, okay, her dad's gonna come back. No. I was like, okay, well, the frailty thing. Someone's gonna figure out the frailty. No. She's hunting these 3 campers. Their families are gonna get revenge on them, or one of them's gonna get away. No. Oh, the Aryan Brotherhood. No. It was all of these threads. And it's like, ooh, that's an interesting thread. Let's pick it up. Let's run with it. No. Like, just no. We're not going to. Can't be bothered. Can't be done. Can't be dude. And it's like, this book was so frustrating. I gave it 2 stars because it had so much promise and I was so excited to read it. And there are parts of it, like, on a technical level, it was well written, if that makes sense. Like, the characters' voices when they're speaking feel like 2 different people speaking. But it doesn't feel like how people talk to each other. if that makes sense. Like, every character that spoke had a unique voice, but none of them, when talking to another character, felt natural. And the setting was really cool. It's got this lush landscape, and, like, she can traverse, which means she can, like, it's like fast movement in D&D, and I was like, that's cool! And he's, like, got tentacles, and he, like, Spider-Man's with his tentacles, like, through the trees, and, like, it's... Okay, cool. Nobody ever sees them. It's fine. Like, there's a throwaway line about how, for the Monster Mash, which is, like, this big congregation of monsters to, like, have a kegger, I guess, that, oh, well, there's satellites and people are watching. Like, oh, okay, the government's gonna swarm it. No. Like, this book was just a big letdown. It was such a letdown. Did you read Dating and Dismemberment? What did you think of it? Like, because this book has a 3.77 on Goodreads. It's got almost 4 stars. This book has 440 5-star reviews and 722 4-star reviews. Like, I'm definitely in the minority of people who did not like this book. It's 24 and 39% respectively for those 2 ratings. And it's like, that is a majority. That is over 50%. Any way you want to, like... And it's like, I just don't get it. I just don't get how people were so... It was just really disappointing. What's a book that you read that just let you down? That you were, like, so excited for it, you picked it up, you read the back, you're like, alright, let's do this. And then you read it, and you kept reading because you were waiting for anything to happen. Like, please let me know, so I can avoid those books. Or maybe I read them and I liked them, I'm in the minority there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.